Here we go again.
Carl C.J. Johnson was born in Los Santos to Beverly Johnson. In the introduction movie, he says he did not know his father. Beverly had 4 children, Sean, Carl, Kendall, and Brian. Sweet states that Carl was born in the Johnson house, the family's childhood and current home. Old Reese, a family friend in Ganton's local barber, recalls memories of Carl's father, although Carl tells Joey Leone that he never knew his father, and that Sweet was the man of the house, but made his life miserable. The Johnson siblings, along with Melvin Big Smoke Harris and Lance Ryder Wilson, grew up on the same cul-de-sac and were childhood friends. CJ recalls Ryder dealing drugs since he was 10. Sweet became the leader of the Grove Street families and introduced him, CJ, and possibly Brian, into the gang life. The Grove Street families went into a decline at some point between 1987 and 1992. Carl's younger brother Brian died in 1987. The cause of his death was never revealed, though it is implied Carl was present but did not help him, as Sweet laments that Carl let Brian die. He was no longer considered a member of Grove Street, and would later have to earn his way back into the gang. Big Smoke also implies that Carl was physically larger during that time, stating that the East Coast got him all thinned out. Following Brian's death, Carl left Los Santos and moved to Liberty City. When he arrived, he began working with Joey Leone, the son of Leone family Don Salvatore Leone, in the car theft business, as well as other small-time crimes. In 1992, Beverly Johnson, Carl's mother, is killed in a drive-by shooting by the Ballas. Sweet phones Carl and informs him, and Carl agrees to return for the funeral. Carl quickly learns that the Grove Street families lost much of their power over the last 5 years, a result of the growing crack cocaine trend, and, though Sweet doesn't admit it, Sweet not having as much personal strength as a leader without CJ home. CJ and Sweet work furiously to successfully bring the gang back to power, with CJ regaining his brother's respect in the process. At the very end of the game, Carl is a young and wealthy man. His assets and business interests include the Grove Street family's gang and Mad Dog's contract in Los Santos, a car garage and several other properties in San Fierro, and shares in the Four Dragons Casino in Las Venturas, as well as the government's $60 million jetpack. It is suggested that Carl, Mad Dog, Ken Paul and Macker are to go on a worldwide tour, as mentioned by Mad Dog during the game's final cutscene. Macker and Ken Paul are to ride along, giving another hint that Carl helped the two rebuild their band. In GTA 4, a billboard outside the Middle Park East Safehouse depicts a man strongly resembling Carl in a suit and tie drinking wine with the word Frontalot beside it, which is presumably the product that is being advertised. Despite his mostly calm nature, CJ has shown a very violent and aggressive side when his family is threatened, as with the mission Deconstruction, where he vowed to teach a lesson to the construction workers who insulted his sister, Kendall, and proceeded to kill them all, including burying the foreman alive in a portable toilet. CJ, like his brother Sweet, holds a deep-seated loyalty towards Grove Street and the Hood, as seen in his reaction to the resentful attitude of his friends and siblings early on. At the beginning of the game, Carl, much like Sweet, had a very gang-based and ghetto mentality, stubbornly holding to his gangster views and beliefs, such as his unwillingness to rat towards the cops, holding onto his street code and naively believing that other gangsters also held onto them. However, shortly after his arrival in San Fierro, Carl gradually loses his gang-based mentality and adopts more strategic, intelligent, and cunning viewpoints and mentality. Carl also becomes the successful manager of Mad Dog, and through his various connections, helps revitalize Mad Dog's career, further showing Carl's growing mindset and business-like methods. CJ has been compared to and confused for both his father and his brother Brian, suggesting that CJ bears a great resemblance to both of them. CJ can have a large variety of appearances depending on the player. For example, he can wear cheap clothes from Binko or luxury clothes from Zip. He can be muscular, thin, or fat with the use of gyms and restaurants. He can also have different tattoos and hairstyles. Carl was the most customizable protagonist until the release of Grand Theft Auto Online. Another interesting dynamic thing about Carl's appearance is that his quotes depend on his clothing and physical appearance. For example, he will use more slang when dressed in lower-end clothing, speak in a more refined tone when wearing high-end clothes, or even make food-related comments when he is fatter. On rare occasions, officers may call out Carl by his last name or nickname when he is arrested. Members of most street gangs also recognize him. This includes all Los Santos-based gangs, the San Fierro Rifa and the Denang Boys. It is possible that CJ is a Christian. In the mission, First Date, Carl tells Catalina that he is a God-fearing peace-loving man of the people. Like Franklin Clinton, Carl can purchase several religious tattoos, most notably a Virgin Mary tattoo and a cross chain sold at Didier Sachs, further supporting this theory. When Rockstar Games revealed that Carl was black, there was considerable uproar in the media regarding the possibility of racism. It was believed Rockstar Rockstar had taken a great risk by making a black protagonist. Despite this, when the game was released, Carl's character was very well received and Rockstar were praised, developing him to have emotions and morals that weren't present with previous protagonists. Many players even said that they had felt it wrong and out of character for Carl to randomly kill innocent people in-game. This trait was carried over to Niko Bellic. If CJ becomes fat enough, his head will always face slightly to the side when stood still. In the Grand Theft Auto 5 mission Derailed, there is a challenge for the mission, which is better than CJ. This is a reference to Wrong Side of the Tracks, where CJ and Big Smoke chases a train on a Sanchez motorbike. CJ displays genuine remorse for having to kill Ryder and Big Smoke, who he considered close friends. However, CJ has no problem with killing members of other gangs, and willfully slaughters any that get in his way of reclaiming Grove Street family turf or try to sabotage his businesses, though in return, the gangsters are trying to kill CJ also.